Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. Because for governors, we report to the Vice President, we go to the National Economic Council, and the VP is the chairman. We didn't consult one another, but if you look at my boss and myself, we wear the same thing, from head to toe, brown. That is how we're feeling. And let me also specially recognize the former governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, because I saw everybody was recognized, but it was missed out. Oh, it was recognized, okay. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Well, before I go into presenting the book, they've said so many things about the author, Mohammed Bello Adoke, SAN. I call him Malam B. But one thing he has done today, he has brought together inside this all APCO, PDPO, Coalition, NNPPO. So this is a good way to start elite consensus for the future of Nigeria. So I consider it a privilege and responsibility to stand here today as a chief presenter of a book that revisits one of the most scrutinized transactions in Nigeria's petroleum history. OPL 245, inside story of the $1.3 billion Nigerian oil block. That's a lot of money, $1.3 billion. So I'm not surprised that it generated a lot of interest. Well, this book, to me, is not simply a retrospective on a deal. It is a personal testimony from someone who held public trust and bore institutional responsibility during a turbulent and legally fraught moment in our nation's oil and gas sector. Well, we live in a country where records are sparse, where narratives are quickly lost in headlines, and where legal complexities is often weaponized. In this context, Malam B's decision to document his side of the story is not just brave, it is necessary. Because history must not only be recorded, it must also be contested, clarified, and understood. Even a Bible proverb says, the first to present his case seems right until someone comes forward and cross-examines him. I have this Baba that used to play golf with me. And then when I get the first t-shirt right, they will say, not be him who first called police that they win case. So as someone who spent the better part of 2 decades in Nigeria's oil and gas sector, including my time as a group managing director of Makinde Group, I understand the weight and nuances that come with managing high-value projects, navigating state regulations, and aligning local and international interest. Because when you wonder sometimes why are people, because they had cases in Milan, in London, all over the world. Yeah, it's because when you have big money, you have interest from all over the world. Yet what happened with OPL 245 was on a different scale. That block had an estimated 9 billion barrels of crude, which is enough to shift national GDP outlook. If my memory serves me right, at Makinde, they gave us a project, and I had then a 2x4 office, and we had to construct a 150 million SCOF per day gas plant. The project was almost $250 million, and people looked at me and said, look, in this your 2x4 office, you're doing a deal almost $250 million. And I said, in electricity terms, because at that time Nigeria was generating about 3,000 megawatts of electricity, and 150 million SCOF in electricity terms will give you about 600 megawatts, which is 20% of the national capacity. So that is the kind of thing that you have in the oil and gas industry, and that is what this OPL represents. With 9 billion barrels, I mean, it can shift the GDP of Nigeria. So I'm not surprised that it was caught in a web of contested ownership, cross-border litigation, and accusations spanning 3 continents. Up till now, the issue surrounding OPL 245 is still not sorted. So, but this book and the broader discourse it contributes to is not just about the oil block. It is about how Nigeria governs its resources, how decisions made in government echo through generations, and how public officials must balance legal clarity with national interest even when under pressure. It is about the gaps in our institutional frameworks, from discretionary licensing regimes to unclear accountability lines that leave room for international actors to take liberties with our sovereignty and for local actors to act with impunity. It must be said that not everyone will agree with positions taken in this book, nor should they be. But Malambi has done something few in our public space have dared to do: offer his account, with names, with dates, context, and consequences, and place it before the court of public opinion, long after courts of law have had their turn. So, thank God my name wasn't mentioned in there. This is how historical narratives are built. We must not be silent about our history, and records must be kept. It is therefore with deep respect for the principle of public accountability and with personal appreciation for the complexity of our oil economy that I officially present to you today OPL 245, inside story of the $1.3 billion Nigerian oil block by Mohammed Bello Adoke, SAN. May it spark the reflection, policy reform, and documentation culture that our country so urgently needs. Thank you and God bless you.